Old loading screen is back. T-Hun is back. Jinxie is back. Wait, no, I made that one up. Jinxie, where are you? Well, whether Jinxie is back or not is a mystery still, but you know what's not a mystery? Mewtwo Speed is back. Mavnades is back. Fortress is back. Electric Castle is back. Wait, what the hell? What the hell is this, man? How does this even make sense? Electrified Castle Barricades. Are we serious? All right, Siege has been in the worst state it's ever been in. Like, always. And I feel like this is kind of like a yearly routine at this point of Siege reaching an all-time low, but with Year 10 Season 4 fully revealed, Siege yet again might actually be back, guys. And before you go racing to the comments calling creator frauds for switching games and then coming back when it gets good again, just remember, we all love Siege, guys. We just don't want to play it when it's trash. So if it's not trash, you're damn right I'm coming back to make some more videos, dude. Now, this season genuinely might be more content than all of Siege X, but Ubisoft spent all their budget promoting that, so unfortunately this season might not get the full hype that I think it deserves. Watching the reveal, I thought we were in for the same bullshit yet again this season, with my hopes already 10 feet under. It starts out with the classic, we hear you, we know we have things to improve on, guys, and we apologize, we suck, blah blah, corporate UB jargon trying to make us trust them again, whatever. And I'm like, you know what, I'm not falling for this a millionth time. But then as I watched the reveal, some new content was shown, and then some more new content, and then some new balancing changes, and they were actually good. And then they were like, Terrorist Hunt is back under a new name, and then there was a full map rework, and then I launched the game. And they went back to the old loading screen, and I kinda busted a little as icing on the cake. And then I ate the cake, and it was delicious, but it also got me thinking about all these changes, and I realized that this season might actually be amazing. Or maybe it won't, but that's for you to decide. So let's talk about everything coming in Year 10 Season 4, and get ready, because it is a lot. Okay, firstly, what the hell is this castle buff? No, seriously. You can now electrify castle barricades. This is gonna be a super niche thing for Pro League strats and probably Copper strats, but hey, it's another thing to combo and have fun with, so I'm all for it. Maybe they got metal plates inside the castle barricades or something. Either way, I don't really care that much, and it's new, so I guess we'll call it a win. But this is just the start of the new philosophy that Ubisoft has with the game, and this change is a signal to us as an audience that they're going to be switching some things up. I won't dwell on this too long though, so let's get into the big operator rework coming this season, Thatcher. What the hell is this thing, man? Is that a potato? This thing looks like it could fall apart at any second. Oh, it's the Thunder Gun. Guys, he's got an EMP Thunder Gun with an IQ scanner on it. So yeah, Thatcher is no longer playing with his balls. He's now bringing the toaster cannon to the field to EMP gadgets instead. With a very short range of 10 meters, any gadget in range will pop up on his little IQ scanner screen. They start off as just these white dots, but once you ping one of the gadgets with the drone, or actually EMP them, the rest of those specific gadgets will now show up on the scanner. And once you do actually EMP them, they disable for 15 seconds, the same as before, but now you have to reload the launcher to get another EMP blast. It only holds one shot, kind of like the Thunder Gun, but it's got 6 blasts total, up from Thatcher's 3 EMP balls that he had before. Overall, this is a pretty big buff, I would say. The way EMPs now affect Aruni gates also changed, so she kind of got a bit of a nerf from this. So now if you EMP her gates, they'll get disabled for the duration of the EMP. So that's 15 seconds from Thatcher, or 9 seconds from an EMP gadget. Then after that EMP effect is over, the gate will get disabled for an additional 30 seconds. That's the same duration that they do when you burn them normally. So if you threw a flashbang or a drone or whatever through them, they reset for 30 seconds. Plus after that, you'll still have to shoot them to reset them like you normally would. What this means is that EMPing the gates is now a much smarter idea than just burning them, as you get the normal duration plus the additional duration of the EMP. Leading up to this change, EMPing a gate would just result in it coming back up after the EMP wore off, meaning throwing the EMP gadget into the gate was actually the better option. This is not the case anymore, so EMPing those gates does give you this additional time waste. Now, that's not all when it comes to this rework though, because Thatcher has a brand new DMR on top of it. It's called the PMR 90A2 or PMR 90A2, I don't know, I'm gonna call it PMR, and it's actually pretty solid. It feels and sounds a lot like Buck's cameras with a similar recoil to the 417. The 417 is a great DMR, and this one will be too. It does a lot of damage, whatever. I do think the L8 is still going to be the better gun for most people, but it's nice to have 4 options of primary weapons for Thatcher. The more options, the better. Keep it coming, Yubi. Overall, I think this is a massive buff to Thatcher, and he's going to be back in a really great spot, especially with all the hard breacher balancing changes that we'll cover in a bit. Before we do, though, let's talk about the other operators receiving this new PMR, Capitao, Nock, and Hibana. Hibana has also received a buff to the Type 89 recoil, apparently. In terms of the Capitao and Hib, I don't think this new gun will change too much about them, outside of Hibana maybe locking down long angles a little more comfortably. Personally, I'm still going to probably run the Type 89 in most circumstances. As for Nock, the FMG9 is like the worst attacking weapon in the game. It's just nothing compared to all the other strong guns. But with this new PMR, it'll at least give her a chance to be useful, especially like sitting under a default cam, holding a cut, like a long range cut where people will swing into that DMR and you can just plow them down in a couple bullets. Maybe she won't even be the worst operator in the game this season. Nah, who am I kidding, guys? Her ability is still giga ass. Womp womp. Now, Year 10 Season 4 is also bringing Skyscraper and Theme Park as modernized maps, along with the Fortress rework that's going straight into Ranked and Pro League. Already more map content than we've gotten in the past few years at least. I mean, the modernized maps are nice and pretty interesting, but they don't really fill the void in terms of new content. Excluding these and Dual Front, I'm pretty sure the last new map, including reworks, was Lair in November of 2023. That was 2 years ago. That's actually kind of insane when you think about it. So anyway, a fresh map is extremely nice, and Fortress seems pretty good overall. I've only played one game on it, so my opinion is kind of impartial at the moment. I definitely need some more playtime to know whether it's good or not, but the initial vibe is pretty solid. If you want to see some more of the map, you can go watch the gameplay video that I uploaded today. It also has the other 2 matches you've seen throughout this video so far, so that you can get a feel of the new season if you want. Also, kind of hit some stinkers on the other creators. Another small change coming in Year 10 Season 4 that goes a long way is the change to pistols. You now hold them a little further out from your body, making it easier to see where you're aiming. This feels really good, and pistols are really nice to use now. For me, this is a huge win from a very minor change. And of course, Terrorist Hunt is back as well. The greatest warm-up mode of all time in Rainbow Six that was removed years ago has been brought back to life and kind of remastered into the most perfect version we could have hoped for. Except it's called Clear House. What a stupid ass name. I was gonna just say what a stupid ass name, and then I looked at my script and it says what a stupid ass name. So I'm clearly synced up on the fact that this is a stupid ass name. This is just Terrorist Hunt. It's T-Hunt with a mini map tacked on and some other elements of the Endless Drill mixed in there. It also has respawn, so if you die, you can come back for more. Fantastic. This is going to be the best warm-up drill. I mean, some people might still prefer TDM for like more realistic movement, or even like the aim training center. What is that called? Training grounds? Whatever. To me though, best warm-up drill, best way to learn the maps, everything. Major win here, even though it is technically just recycled content. I'm really not a fan of removing things from the game and then bringing them back as new years later, but at least in this case, there is an element of newness to it. I'm also not against them doing this if the thing that they took away in the first place was cherished and loved by the entire community. Stupid of them to remove it in the first place, and they should stop removing stuff that we like. I think that's just a fair point that everyone can agree on. Ranked is also getting some really big changes this season, but is it for the better or for the worse? I'm gonna give you the details and let you make a decision on that. So, you can finally see your skill. It is no longer hidden, thank God. We now know how good we are at the game again, and because of this, Ubisoft has to actually start matching us against people of our skill level. When Rank 2.0 came out, they made matches extremely unbalanced and got away with it because our skill was hidden behind fake ranks. It was a way to lower the queue times and make everyone get games faster. Now, our rank is still a separate value from our skill, but the skill is the only one that actually matters. Your rank is simply a participation award. It always was in Rank 2.0, except now everyone can actually see it. So while we will have more balanced matches, we will also have those longer queue times as the game tries to give us fair matches, which I am completely okay with because I would rather play more competitive games than just the worst games of all time. The only downside to this is if you are at those top ranks, you're probably going to play more cheaters. But that's not all, because while the matches are based on skill, it will also try to base it on your rank. It sounds kind of weird, but that way if you come in like halfway through a season and you're in Copper, copper, you probably shouldn't be playing champs right away, even if your skill is champ. It will look for other lower ranked players with high skill for you to play against so it's more fair. Now, the downside of visible skill is smurfing. When you know exactly what your skill is, you know how it affects the matchmaking. When you know you've tanked your skill to copper, you can use that account to boost other people. This was one of the problems with Ranked 1.0, and it's why they made skill hidden and confusing to lower the amount of smurf accounts. And it worked to a certain extent. It didn't stop it entirely, but it stopped a lot of blatant boosting that was going on in Ranked 1.0. Now that our rank is visible again, won't boosting and smurfing just come back in full force? Well, Ubisoft's plan to counteract this is slightly controversial, because now your squad will matchmake against other squads based on the highest skilled player in your squad. So if a champion plays with a copper, they'll be in champion lobbies. If you want to play with your friends who might not be as good at the game as you or vice versa, you might want to think twice now because you'll probably lose every game. This is a very punishing system, and I'm not entirely sure how to feel about it. It doesn't really affect me personally since most of the people I play with are champ already, but let me know how you feel about this from your perspective. I feel like some people are going to be pretty upset about this, but I can also understand why it's being implemented. Again, unranked is always an option, but it can be more fun to play ranked with your buddies and not get your cheeks clapped the entire time. Anyway, let me know. In terms of cheaters, they're working on it. I mean, I don't have a lot to say about that, so I'm not really going to talk about it this video. Hopefully it's better. That's all I can really ask for, and if it's not, yeah, the game's probably going to be still in a rough spot. Let's pivot to our last topic, though, and finally talk about balancing. Hella buffs for hard breachers, and not a nerf in sight. This is what we love to see, people. Let's go through them one by one. Starting out with Thermite, my favorite change of all. My boy, he now has 3 Thermite charges and a secondary shotgun. 3 Thermites is a massive buff for him, being able to add even more pressure from every direction. I'm going to be playing a lot more Thermite. And with Hibana, she now has that new gun, of course, but she also no longer has to reload her pellets after firing. This is what I'm calling the Macy J buff because he tweeted this idea out a while ago and the devs are running with it. This is a great quality of life change that takes away a lot of unnecessary risk that Hibana had. Mav, of course, has grenades again. Now, he did have grenades in the past that Ubisoft took away to nerf him, but that was when you could cook grenades, so he won't be as brutal as he was before, but this will be very nice just for extra destruction. I'm really happy about this change. His blowtorch fuel is also packed into just 2 canisters now, so you can drop peepees in the wall without having to reload, which is kind of cool. It's kind of sweet. Again, just a quality of life change and reduces some of that risk he has. He's also got the Reaper now, too, which is kind of cool to see. I don't think it matters because the M4 is still on the table, but hey, I'm not going to complain about this. Our last hard breacher, of course, is Ace. Permaban victim numero uno is actually still getting a buff. It sounds insane, but it's actually really good in my opinion. And we're going to talk about how all 4 of these operator changes will affect the meta very shortly. But with Ace, he's now a 1-speed. Technically, this would be a nerf if it weren't for the fact that he's no longer countered by mute. That's right, mute jammers. They just do nothing against Selmas anymore. Basically, they reworked the jammer effect to be separate from the EMP effect. Now jammers will block communications between 2 devices. This disrupts the frequency as it would probably work in real life. So thermites won't go off in a mute jammer still because the detonator can't communicate with the charge. The same way a drone won't communicate with your cell phone because it's jammed. But Selmas are just explosives that deploy on their own. They don't need to talk to nobody, meaning the new mute jammer won't affect them. So yeah, overall Ace is even better, but he's gonna be more boring to play because he's a 1-speed, so I think it's gonna be fine. But what about mute? Isn't this just a nerf to mute? Well, it would be, except for the fact that his mute jammer radius is now larger, and like I mentioned at the start of the video, he's a 2-speed again. Thank God, man, or rather thank Ubisoft, because setting up a bomb site and putting 4 mute jammers down as a 1-speed is so brutal and nearly impossible. We can all be happy about this, but it also means swinging doors with the pump will be even easier. Me personally, I'm very excited to continue to bully people with mute. On defense, Thunderbird also got Legion's pistol, which is kind of random. I mean, I'm probably just going to still use the Bearing 9, and Aruni's Gates got nerfed with the EMP changes that we already talked about. Outside of that, mute and the castle changes, the defense wasn't touched at all, so it does feel like a bit of a stale season for them. And since Thatcher can replace IQ for half the jobs and do it better, IQ is indirectly nerfed too. The only real value from her now is finding Valk cams, Echo cams, maybe a Vigil or a Pulse, and she has much more range compared to Thatcher's gadget, but outside of that, her ability is kind of useless. It was already pretty niche before, and now it's even more so, so I'm wondering if she'll be next on the list of reworks. Now, Why are these balancing changes so massive, and what does it mean for Siege? Well, along with that massive dopamine hit from the opening screen and the heavy focus on stronger breachers, it seems to me that Ubisoft is trying to establish that original Siege feeling again. Back in year 1 and 2, Thermite and Thatcher were the main guys, and the game revolved around hard breaching and positioning in this way. So a lot of our veteran players reminisce on the first few years of Siege before everything became traps and shields, and it seems like they're trying to bring back that sort of feeling. Having all the breachers be stronger is the first step to achieving that.
Let's go, Pogs!
Shields will still be extremely strong, but now all the hard breachers are too, meaning they'll be more fun and picked more often. To me, this season really feels like a first step towards saving Siege, but we're gonna need to keep this pace up in year 11 as well, or things are not gonna be looking good for R6. One small step is the right way to start, and that's what year 10 season 4 feels like. I'll be live streaming all day tomorrow on the test server on PC, playing more of the new season, so come on over on Twitch and let me know what your thoughts are on it. While you're there, if you subscribe, you can get my in-game charm, which helps support the channel a ton, and it also gets you something in return, which is kind of nice. If you want to try the new season, download it for yourself and get some matches in against me on the test server. Thanks for watching, gamers. Up the Siege. Let's get excited. Let's hope it's good.